Welcome to the seventh lecture. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about the data types in Java and types of variables in Java. So we have 8 primitive data types, and those primitive data types are tabulated here. First one is byte, next one is short, third one is character, fourth one is int, float, double, long, and boolean. And here the bytes it takes or it allocates, and the equivalent bits it allocates, and the range it can go. The maximum and the minimum value is tabulated over here. So for byte it takes 1 byte is nothing but it is equivalent to 8 bit. So 1 byte is equivalent to 8 bit, and the range is nothing but minus 128 to 127. Next one is short data type, and it takes 2 bytes. So 2 into 8 is nothing but 16, and the range is nothing but minus 2 to the power of 15 to 2 to the power of 15 minus 1. Next one for character. For characters, it is given by the data type CHAR. Character means it will take only one character, like it will take like either A or X, and like Z. Only one character, single character it will take. So the number of bytes is given to be 2 bytes. So 2 into 8 is nothing but 16, and the range of the character is given to be 0 to 255. Next one is int and float. Integer is nothing but without decimal point, it's a whole number. Float is nothing but with like decimal point. So like say for example, I am writing int sum is equivalent to 100. So here you will not have any decimal point, but for float and double, say for example float, I am giving 423.50. Okay, so here you will have, even if you don't give this decimal point, by default it will allocate the decimal values like 00 after the decimal point. And for int it takes 4 bytes, number of bits is given to be 32, and the range is nothing but minus 2 to the power of 31 to 2 to the power of 31 minus 1. For float also it takes 4 bytes, so 32 bits. So minus 3.5 exponential, that is raised to the power of 38 to 3.4 exponent raised to the power of 38. For double, you have 8 bytes, so 8 into 8 is nothing but 64. So minus 2 to the power of 63 to 2 to the power of 63 minus 1. Next one long. Long also takes 8 bytes, so it is equivalent to 64 bits. So the range is given to be minus 1.7 e to the power of 308 to 1.7 e to the power of 308. So these are nothing but minimum values, and these are nothing but the maximum range. Next one, boolean. Boolean it takes only 1 bit. So we have seen already regarding the logical gates like and or all those truth tables. So it take only 1 bit, either true or false, or it can be told as high or low, or 1 or 0. So these are the important 8 primitive data types: byte, short, char, int, float, double, long, boolean. Okay, we will see a program for this. Here I have given a program. I'll explain you step by step. First one, we will see about the byte. I told the byte range is nothing but minus 128 to 127. So here I'm giving the data type to be byte, and the variable name is b. It is equivalent to minus 128. I am taking the minimum value as well as the maximum value. Okay, we will see what is the output for this. See, minimum value is nothing but minus 128 and the maximum value is 127. Okay, now I am trying to give values beyond the limit. Say for example, I am giving b is equivalent to minus 129. Okay, and for same b value I am exceeding the limit 128. So you can see the error, type mismatch cannot convert from into byte. Okay, so it is crossing the range of the byte, so it is asking you to convert this into a int value, because int takes 4 bytes. Okay, uh, so it will show error. So within the range, that particular data type can take up the value. Next one we will see about the short. It, the range of the short is nothing but minus 2 to the power of 15 to 2 to the power of 15 minus 1. Okay, so we have seen short takes 2 bytes, that is 16 bits. So range is nothing but minus 2 to the power of 15 to 2 to the power of 15 minus 1. So here I have given short. Yes, uh, see, leave off this one for time being, I'll explain you later on. This is said to be typecasting. Okay, this math is a class and power is a method in Java. So it takes the base value and this takes up the power value. That is, if you want to have minus 2 to the power of 15 means the base value is minus 2 and the power value is nothing but 15, that is minus 2 is raised to the power of 15. So you have to use this method, uh, math, and inside this method you have the sorry, inside this class you have the method pow, and you have to give the base value and the power value. If see, if you place a cursor here, it will show. Okay, so it will give all the details. So seeing to that you can get to know. So I am giving, say for example, if I remove this short, okay, it will not accept and it will ask to typecast. Okay, because the return value of this is nothing but double. We have seen, right, this power method, it takes the double value and returns the double value, so it has to be converted into short. So I am typecasting, this is said to be typecasting, that is converting from one data type to another data type, that is said to be typecasting. We will see that in detail later on. So here I am giving short s is equivalent to short of math dot power. This is the minimum range and this is the maximum range, and the actual value is nothing but minus 32,768 to 32,767, because minus 1. Okay, we'll see what is the output for this. A short output. So minimum range is minus 3 to 768 and maximum value is nothing but minus 3 to 768. Okay, so it is giving this value. One second. So this is minimum is nothing but, okay, minus 2 to the power of 15 and this maximum value 2 to the power of 15. I will comment this. See, it is giving a wrong answer. Okay, because the value is nothing but it has to be subtracted. Maximum value is nothing but acceptable is 32767. Okay, so it is giving a wrong value. So this is not the correct value. Okay, let us see. See, now it is giving the correct answer. Okay, because it is going out of the range. Okay, but it is not throwing any error, but it is giving a wrong answer. Okay, so it should be 2 to the power of 15 minus 1. Okay, so this is about the short. Next one, I told it will not take the value either below the minimum value or above the maximum value. So this just as an example, like if you give in math.pow, it is not accepting, that is it is not showing the error, but here see it is showing the error. So the my minimum value is nothing but minus 32,768. So if you give below this minimum value, it is not accepting, so it is showing it is mismatching. You cannot convert from int to short, so it takes up the next data type int. And here also see 678, it is not taking up, so it is showing error. Okay, so within that range you have to give the value for those data types. Next one, character. So here character, I told it will display the character. Here I have given directly c is equal to y, and the data type is nothing but char. Here I have given 88, so it is nothing but American Standard Code for Information Interchange. So each key, like each alphabets like A, B, C, like it will have a internal ASCII value. Okay, that is given to be 88 here, and here I have given directly y. So if you give the character, like the proper way is nothing but you have to give within single quotes. Next one, I told 0 to 255, so totally 256 values. So I am giving 255 also, and I am giving 256 also. Okay, we'll see what is the output. See, for 88 it gives the output to be capital X, and for small y, so directly it prints, and for 255 it is giving y and two dots at the up, and 256 means it gives question mark. After this, say for example I am changing this value to any value. Okay, so 259. Now we'll see what is the output. See, it gives the same question mark. Okay, whatever value you give, after this it gives the same question mark. So the maximum value it can accept is 256. This is for character. Next one, int. Int takes 4 bytes, nothing but 32 bits. So range is minus 2 to the power 31 to 2 to the power 31 minus 1. So similarly, as we used earlier, I'm using the class math and the method POW. Okay, power. So math dot power of minus 2 to the base value to the power value, minus 2 to the power of 31. So this is a minimum value and this is a maximum value. Okay, so let us see what is the output. See here, it will give 648, but the range is 647. As I made it earlier, actual values you have to subtract 1 from this int value. Okay, so if you give like this, it's accepting, but if you give the exact value, it will not accept. So here I'm giving the integer output. Okay, so in this case, see, it is not giving that value, it is giving the correct value. Okay, 647, but earlier it gave like the exact value, but a wrong, with a wrong sign of minus. So here after this, whatever power you give, okay, it will give only this value. Okay, but the actual value of 2 to the power of 31 is this value. Okay, 8 you will have, but here see, it takes only up to this value, 2 to the power of 31 minus 1, so it gives this maximum value. And if I give like this exact values, okay, so here see, it is telling out of a range. So the literal, this value is out of a range. It is not asking you to convert, it is telling, because I'm giving minimum value even reduced to 649, it will accept up to 648. Okay, and the maximum value is 647, but I'm giving 648, so it is not accepting. Next one, just play around with this, and you can understand clearly. Next one, float range. So float is given by the data type float, and I am giving the variable name to be f. So here also the maximum value is minus 3.4 exponential raised to the power of 38 to 3.4 exponent raised to the power of 38. So you have to use the same formula. Okay, and so here also you will get the output. So next one, so this is the actual value, or e to the power 20. Okay, and this is the maximum value, because minus 3.4, but it is raised to the even number, so both the minimum as well as the maximum value will be the same. So here we will see what is the output for the float. Float output is minimum value is this value and the maximum value is this value. Next one, double range, 2 to the power of 63 to 2 to the power of 63 minus 1. Okay, so here also I am giving the same thing. If you give like math dot power, it gives a value. Okay, let us see what is the output for the double also. So this is the output. So here it is giving, so since the power is an odd power, so minus 9.2237. Okay, so same thing. Next one, long range. Long range is minus 1.7 e to the power of 308 to 1.7 e to the power of 38. Okay, so here it is asking you to typecast, so I have typecast the value. Okay, we'll see what is the output for the long. So this is the output. Okay, because the power is even number, so even if it is minus 1.7 the base value, since the power is an even power, the value output is nothing but it is a positive value. Okay, you can play around, you can change these values and check what is the output, all those. Next one, for boolean, I told it is either true or false, or you can have high or low, or 1 or 0. Okay, so here I am taking the boolean data type and the variable name to be flag, and I am giving true, so I am printing this value. Okay, next one, I am making the flag value to be false, flag is equal to false. Next, boolean value flag. Okay, so I am printing. So we'll see what is output for this. See, first one I am giving true, then I am making this value to be false, so I am getting a false value. And this boolean value can be used in conditional statements. So here I am using if else condition. If bool means nothing but by default it will take up the true value, so if it is a true value, print 10 is greater than 5, or otherwise print 5 is less than 10. Okay, so here it is printing. So if bool, see, I have made the false. Okay, I have made the boolean value to be false, so the condition is false, so it comes to the else statement and this will be printed. Sorry, here, okay, again I am assigning, I am taking this bool value, so here it will check the condition and the result will be stored here in this bool value. So 10 is greater than 5, obviously true, so here bool will be true, so this statement will be executed. Okay, so this is the output. So these are all the data types. Okay, so we are seeing what are all the data types and how it will be executed. So totally we have 8 data types, and these data types with these ranges, because sometimes some people they will give some value and they will not be getting the result. Okay, and they will be wondering why they are not getting the result. The reason is they might be using the numbers beyond this given range, and that is the reason they will not be getting the appropriate result. Okay, next one we will see about the variables in Java. Okay, we have 3 types of variables. I'll explain you in short. Like we have something called as local variable. Next one is instance variable, and this is said to be non-static variable. Okay, and third one is said to be the static or shared or class variable. We will see in a program. Say for example I have a class A. Okay, and here I am giving int sum is equivalent to 100. Before that we will see how to declare and define a variable. So here see I have given how to declare a variable, like you have to declare int num. Okay, so this is data type, and this is nothing but the name of the variable. This is the declaration of the variable, and when you assign a value to this variable, it is called as defining the variable. So in the next line I am giving num is equal to 100, and you must note down I am using the main method. Okay, within the main method I am declaring a variable num, and I am assigning the value to be 100, or otherwise you can give like this directly, int num is equal to 100. And if we give like this, int i1 comma i2 equal to 20, and if you use this variable in the program, it will ask you to initialize the variable. Okay, because here the value is not given for this i1, so it will ask you to initialize the value. And you can give like this also, string s1 is equal to, within double quotes. If it is a character, give it with a single quote, and if it is a string you can give it with a double quote. Okay, and s1 is equal to hello comma s2 equal to world. So if you declare and define any variable within any method, okay, that is said to be a local variable. I'll tell you. Say for example I am having like this. Okay, and I am having one main method, that is public static void main method, and here I have int sum is equal to 100. Okay, let us take 200. See, this is within the class level from here, and this method ends over here. Okay, okay, let us see here, and this. So this curly braces to this curly braces is class level, and this curly braces to this curly braces, it is said to be this method level. Okay, so this is a class variable, this sum. Okay, but this sum is within this method, so this is said to be a local variable. That is, you can access this sum only within this method only, but this sum can be accessed within the whole class level. We will see an example. Okay, so this sum and this sum, they are not equal. they are different. Okay, we'll see the differences. Next one, so this is about the instance variable as well as this local variable. Next one, static variable. Okay, static variable means you have to use a keyword static. Okay, I'm using static double d is equivalent to 500.55. Okay, so this is said to be static variable. Okay, if you use a keyword static, this is said to be a static variable, and if you don't use a static keyword, these variables are said to be instance variables. These two variables will be used within the class level, but the local variable will be used only to the method level. Okay, we will see in detail. I just want to differentiate what is a local variable, what is a instance variable, what is a static variable. Okay, so this is within the method means local variable. Within the class you have two variables, one is called as a instance variable and another one is a static variable. For static variable you will use the keyword static, and for instance a variable you will not use the instance variable. And another thing you should know is this instance variable. For example, for this class, say for example I am creating three objects. Okay, equal to new sorry okay, next one, I am creating another object equal to new a. Next I am creating object 3 equal to new a. Okay, so we have three objects, right? So I have obj1 and I have obj2 and I have obj3. See, this instance variable is nothing but when you create a new object using the new keyword, this instance variable will be created for that particular object. So here this object, it will hold sum is equivalent to 100. Okay, and I am creating the second object, so immediately this object will have the sum equal to 100, and I am creating a third object, this will have sum is equal to 100. Okay, say for example this object change this sum value to 200. Okay, but in object 1 it will be sum is equal to 100, only in object 2 sum will be 200, in object 3 sum will be 100. Okay, so only in this object this sum value will get modified, but in object 1 and object 3 it will not get modified. This is the case of the instance variables. Say for example I have a static variable. Okay, so what happens, this obj1, this obj2, obj3, three objects, these will share the value of this static value, that is this also share, this also share, this also share. So initially here you will have d is equivalent to 500.55, so here also d 500.55. okay, d 500.55. say now this object, okay, this object changes the value of the d to some 600.0. So immediately what happens, this will be removed and you will get 600.0. now this value will be 600.0 and this value will also be 600.0. so this is the power of the static value. Static means when the value of the variable, static variable, is changed, it gets reflected in all the objects that is accessing it. Okay, that is the difference between the static variable and the instance variable. This one you should know it clearly. First one, whatever the variable declared within this method or any method, okay, any method, it is particular to that method only, that is said to be a local variable. You can access only within that method. Okay, next one, instance variable and static variable, they belong to the classes. The main difference between the instance and the static variable is, in instance variable each object will have its own copy of the instance variable, and even if a change is made in one object, it will not get reflected in another objects. Each one will have its own separate copy. It's like private property. Okay, but here it's like a public property. If you use a static keyword and if these objects shares these static variable, even if one object changes its value, it gets reflected in all the three objects also. Okay, so that is the main difference between the instance variable and the static variable. Okay, we will see a program for this and we will see the explanation also. So this is a way you will declare and define a variable. This is within the main method. Okay, but within the class level you cannot do this. Say for example, I have class A. Okay, here int num, okay, num equal to 100. This I cannot do it within the class level. Okay, here I have the main method. This is not possible inside the class level. Okay, here you must give value or you can leave it blank. If you give int num, the default value for the integer is 0. Okay, or you have to give this is equal to 100. Okay, these are the two possibilities. Only within the methods you can first declare the variable and then you can define the variable. In class level, if you declare the variable, either you have to define it there itself or you have to define within the constructor. We will see what is meant by constructor. Okay, you cannot define in the next line. Okay, this will not be allowed. And similarly, see, I told if you give the value int I1 I2 equal to 0, and if you use this variable in your program, it will throw error because it is not initialized. So local variables have to be initialized if it is declared, and both the static as well as the instance variables need not to be initialized. Okay, it's not compulsory. If it is a number, default value it will take it as 0. Okay, if it is a string, default value it will take it as null. Okay, that is say for example, I am giving string yes only, but I am not giving any value, means default value it will take it as null. Similarly, say for example, I am giving int I1, if I am not giving any value, so default value it will take it as 0. Okay, and for object reference, say for example, for the class I am giving an creating an object obj. Okay, this is said to be object reference, that is you are not creating an object but you are referring the object with a reference value. Okay, so here this obj, if it is not given, default value will be null. Like this you will have the default values for the instance as well as the static variables. Okay, but in local variable, if you declare the variable, you must initialize it. It will not take 0 for this. Okay, we will see an example for that also. Next one, public class variables one. See here I told int num inside this main method. Okay, you can do like this, int num, and you can declare, and then you can define num is equal to 100, but inside the class it will not allow it. Okay, so you have to declare and define there itself. Okay, and this num is a local variable, and you can use this num only within this method, but this is a class level variable. Okay, it's an instance or a non-static variable. This can be used within the whole class. We'll see an example for all those. Next one, the static variable. This also can be used within the class level. Okay, so static, if you use a static keyword, all the objects share the static variable, but each object have its own copy of the instance variable. Okay, similarly this int sum and this int sum are not same, they are different. Okay, so this is what, so totally three types of variables. One is called as a local variable, which is accessed only within that method. Okay, and instance and the shared or static variable or nothing but it is a class level variables. It can be accessed throughout the class. We will see an example for everything. So next one, what I want to tell is, here we have class A. Okay, int a equal to some 100 and string, yes, simply I'm giving. Okay, and I have the main method, and here I have int b equal to 20. System dot out dot println, I am printing. Okay, say here I have one method, void display. So within this method you can access this string. Okay, if you print the string, it will give the value as null. Okay, so see, unless otherwise a method doesn't use a static keyword, it belongs to the class. Okay, so suppose I have a static method. Okay, say for example static block, this is said to be a block. Okay, so inside this static block, if I try to print this variable, it will throw error. Okay, even that is if it is a static variable, that is okay, but instance variables, they cannot be used directly within the static block. You have to create an object for the instance variable whenever you have to use it within a static block or static method. Here also, here you have public static void main, so this is a static method, right? So this is a static block, that is why it is not allowed to use directly, but here you have to create an object. Say for example, you can create an object for this a, like a obj equal to new a. Okay, then you can use this sop of obj dot like a. Okay, now you can print this value. Similarly in the static block also. Okay, these differences you must know. What is the difference between the instance static and the local variable, and how it can be accessed, you should know. Okay, so within the main method or any method which is not static means that belongs to the class. Say here I am not using any static keyword, so it belongs to the class, so I can print this value here directly. But when a method uses a static keyword or a block uses a static keyword inside which this instance variable cannot be printed directly, you have to call only with the help of an object. You have to create an object like this, then you can call this value. Okay, this is one difference. Say for example, I have a static value. Okay, static double d equal to 500. These values can be accessed directly with the help of the class name. Okay, so here I can print SOP. Class name is nothing but A, right? So A dot D. So with the help of the class name and the variable name, I can access it directly. Similarly, here also I can print it SOP like A dot A. Okay, so within the static method and the static block, static variables can be printed using the class name dot variable name, but inside the static and the static block and the static method, this instance variables cannot be printed or accessed directly. It can have to be accessed only with the help of the object. Okay, you should be clear with this. And static variables are shared among the objects, and the instance variables is not shared, but each object will have a separate own copy of the instance variable. This is the main difference. Okay, next one, say inside this main method you cannot use the access specifiers for the variables. Access specifiers we have seen, right? Private, public and protected. So here if you use, it will throw error. Okay, you cannot use this one, but here you can use. Okay, here you can use private, protected. We'll see example for everything, or public. Okay, generally for instance variables, keep it as a private, and for static variable you can keep it as public, because we have seen, right, this why I am asking you to keep it as private means each object has its own copy, so make it as private. Okay, but here it is shared, so make it as public. So if you want to give the access to the subclasses, in such case you can modify the access specifier to be public. Okay, we'll see example for that when we see about the access specifiers. And these are all the main points I want to discuss. Now we will go through the points one by one. Okay, I told local variable. So local variable, it can be declared within a method, constructor or blocks. See, I told about a block. Okay, this is said to be a block. Okay, and a constructor is nothing but, like, at the class level, we will see a separate topic for the constructor, and here I just want to tell what is meant by constructor. Okay, nothing but, see, if I have a class. Okay, simply use the, that is for the methods you will have the return type, but for the constructor you will not have the return type. Okay, simply use a. Okay, say for example here I am using string yes. Okay, so here you can define the value, and after that you will have the public static void main, all those blah blah blah. Okay, so this is said to be a constructor, that is constructor name as well as the class name should be same. Whatever you are given exactly for the class name, it should be the constructor name. When this constructor is invoked means when you use this new keyword, the control will be transferred to the constructor. Okay, so inside the main method I told you can give the variable like a int b. Okay, and then you can define this value. Okay, this is possible, but here you cannot give like that, like string yes, in the next line you cannot give yes is equal to hello. So if you want to define the variable, you have to define inside this constructor. Okay, these points you must be clear. So that is what I have given. So local variable is nothing but it is declared either within a method or a constructor or the block, and the scope of this variable is only within that method only. Okay, so within that method, once that method is the control comes out of this method, you cannot use that local variable. We'll see examples, and I told you it has to be initialized. Okay, if you don't initialize, it will not take any default value but will throw an error. and the access specifiers you cannot use it. We have seen that one. Next one, instance variables. Okay, instance variables is nothing but it is declared within the class, but outside the method. Okay, so here it is declared within the class but outside the method. This is a public static void main is a method and display is a method. So outside the method, either here or in the end. Okay, here also you can declare. Okay, either, that is at the class level you can declare wherever you want. We will see an example for all those. Next one, I told every object has its own copy. Okay, they will have its own copy, and it can be created, it can be accessed by creating an object within the static method. Okay, so if it is a static method or a static block, you cannot access a instance variable directly. Okay, you have to create an object for the you have to create an object for, and then you have to access those instance variables. And I told initialization is not mandatory. If it is not initialized, it will take the default value. Okay, for number it is 0, and for strings it is null, and for object reference also it is null. Next one, class or the shared variable. So here I told only one copy of the variable is shared by all the instances. Instance is nothing but the objects. So there will be only one copy, it is shared by all the instances, and it can be accessed without creating an object. Okay, and similar to the global variable, that is it is available to all the objects. Okay, next one, here also initialization is not mandatory, default value is taken. Under these instance and shared variables, they are stored in, there are many types of memories, and one is called as a heap memory, another one is a stacked memory. Okay, and this instance and the shared variables, it is stored in heap, whereas the local variable is stored in stack. And here these two are nothing but data structures, and the stack is said to be LIFO. LIFO means last in first out. Last in first out means, say for example, you have a bottle and you are placing some chocolates or biscuits. Okay, say you are placing first biscuit, second, third, fourth. Okay, which biscuit you will take it out first? The fourth biscuit, but it came at the last. Okay, so last in first out, so it comes at last but it will be removed first. Okay, so it will uses that algorithm. Okay, LIFO means last in first out. And there is another data structure called as queue. A queue means like a first in first out. First in first out means, say for example, many people are standing in a queue. Okay, to get a ticket. Okay, the first guy or girl who came to get the ticket, she will be moved into the theater or wherever be, right? So that is said to be first in first out algorithm. So these are all about the local variable as well as a instance variable. We will see the program so that you will understand clearly. And some examples, some points, main points I have given for the instance variable, whichever I have told earlier. Okay, this one, after seeing the program, we will see one by one. See here, I told three types of variables. Okay, so local variable and instance variable and static or the shared variables. First we will see about the local variable. See here I have given int num. So here I had declared a variable, then I am defining a variable. Okay, this and all we will, I think, close it out. So first we will see, I have one variable num. Okay, see this I am declaring within the main method and it is a local variable. You can access this variable only inside this method. When the control comes out of this method, this variable is not available to any other class or methods. Okay, so here I am using a variable int num. This is declaration of the variable and this is definition of the variable. Or otherwise you can do it directly, int sum equal to 200. And I told if you give like this, it will not take the default value for the local variable as 0, but it will throw error. Okay, and like this you can give like c1 and c2. I have declared this as a character data type, and I am assigning the value c1 equal to c2 both z. Okay, next one, string s1 is equal to India comma string s2 equal to our nation, and I am going to print out the output. First one, I am going to print the num. See, I told within the uh, not even main method or any method, that variable is local and you don't need to create any object. So here I am not creating any object, I am calling it directly. Okay, and here I am printing the sum value, and see here, see, it will throw error. Okay, because it is not initialized, so it is asking to initialize the variable. So obviously here you have to initialize. Say for example I am giving, okay, so 55. So obviously it will not accept any default value. This is a condition for local variable, so you have to initialize it. Next one, string is this one, and I am concatenating with one more string. Okay, slash means it will give one line. Okay, so given string is s1, I am concatenating with another quoted string is, and I am concatenating with another string. Okay, we'll see what is the output. See, first one, num equal to 100. Okay, so whatever the value for the num, so this is 100 is printed. Next one, sum is nothing but 200, isn't it? So sum is nothing but 200 is printed. Next one, I1 variable is 55, so I1 is nothing but 55, and I2 is nothing but 20. Okay, next one, I am giving given string is, so India is printing India, first one, and here it's leaving a space is and a space, so space is space and our nation. Okay, so this is about the local variable. Okay, now we will see about the instance variables. Okay, see here, this is the instance variable. See here, now as in the case of here, okay, I'm giving first one and I'm trying to define this value. See, it is showing error, syntax error on token. Okay, something is it's giving some wrong value. So you can declare, but you cannot define the instance variable inside the class. Okay, okay, but this you can define inside a constructor. Say for example, I have a constructor. Okay, so instead of defining here, I am going to define here. See, now it is not showing any error. Okay, so this is the main difference you should know. So if you want to use a local variable, you can declare and define there itself, but if you want to use an instance variable as well as a static variable, okay, so here you can declare and define inside the constructor only. Okay, constructor is nothing but the value of the name of the class name as well as the construct name should be same exactly as it is. Okay, and it will not have any return type. If it has return type, that is said to be a method. Okay, For example, let us try for this static double D. Okay, so D equal to 456. See, so this is a static, and here need not to be like a static. Okay, all those stuffs for the constructor it is not mandatory, and here the only thing you can use is public private, that is you can use the access specifiers. Okay, so this is how you have to declare and initialize the variable within the class level. Okay, next one we will see. So this is not allowed, isn't it? Okay, here itself this one we will comment everything. I'll explain you it separately. Okay, okay. So here I have int num and int sum. These are nothing but instance variables. Okay, let us comment this also. We will see what is the output. See, I told the instance variables cannot be accessed directly within the static method, and you have to create an object. So num, I'm trying to print this num value. Okay, as well as the sum value. I think I tried only for sum value. Okay, so int sum, see here I have created an object. Directly can create here itself new variables demo dot sum. Okay, let us see what is the output. See, it is taking sum is equal to 0, the default value it is taking, but in this method, main method, when we didn't initialize here, it is showing error, isn't it? But here even if you don't initialize, it is taking the value. Okay, and if suppose you initialize like this. Okay, if you initialize, now let us see what is the value. Oh, it is, see, it is giving the value. Okay, I'll tell you one more thing. We have initialized the value within this constructor, right? So I have this num. Okay, and I have initialized over here. Okay, now we will see, instead of printing sum, we will print the num value. See, it's showing this value. Okay, so if you don't initialize, it will give the value as 0. If you initialize inside the constructor, it will give the value to be 5000. Okay, next one, I'll show you about the static variable. So these are the examples. Value, where its value, Okay, shared. Okay, we will see about the static. Okay, so here static variable I am using two variable. Static string s is Java tutorial, I am giving the value, and here I am not giving the value. Okay, so I am trying to print. I told static variable you can call it with the help of the class name dot variable name, or you can call it directly. Okay, because see I am calling within this static method only. If you call within the static method, you can call it directly. Okay, if you call within the non-static method, you have to call it indirectly. I think we will remove all these codes. Okay, so this one we will see what is the output. So this is a static variable value. I am not giving any value. We will see what is the output. I am printing it directly. Okay, bj1. Okay, I think so we'll see what is the output for the value. See, it is taking 0 0.0 because I am not assigning any value. Okay, so I have not assigned any value. Say for example within the constructor I am giving the value to be some 3000.777. Okay, now I'll print. Now I'll see what is the value. See, the value is this one. Okay, it's very simple. If you understand well, that's very easy. Next one, this one will comment it. I told instance variables and local variables are not same. Okay, we will see what is that one. Here I have int, this is the local variable, isn't it? Okay, and here int num I have, so this value is something like 5 2 4 6 zeros. Okay, some 50 lakhs. Okay, but this num value within the main method is 100. Both are not same. Okay, so if you want to access the class variable, you have to create an object. So I have created an object and I am accessing the class variable. Okay, nothing but the instance variable. Okay, and let me print the method variable also. Num within the method. Okay, so within the main method I have declared one variable which takes up the value 100, but within the class level, that is instance variable, I had declared one more variable in the same name, but its value is some 50 lakhs. Okay, so when I want to print the value of the variable within the method, you can access it directly because it is local to that method. But if you want to access a instance variable, you have to access with the help of the object. So I have created an object for this class using this new variables demo. So I am accessing this one. Okay, we'll see what is the output. See here, num, that is within the method 100, and the instance variable inside the class is nothing but 50 lakhs. Okay, this thing you should know. Next one, I think if I have typed separately it will be easy. It's like messy. Okay, here I told every object has its own copy of the instance variable. Okay, so I'm creating totally 3 objects: variables demo, obj equal to new variables demo. Okay, we have seen already obj.num is nothing but, what is this value? Obj num is nothing but, we have seen it is like 50 lakhs. Okay, and here another object I am creating, then I am printing this value, and this one for time being we will leave it off. Okay, and I am creating another object obj2. So totally 3 objects. Okay, see here, this is one object. Okay, this one object, and I am printing that object number value, and next object is this object obj1, and I am printing the second object, and this is the third object, and I am printing the third object. Okay, for example we'll have this. Okay, we'll see what is the output. See, this is the first object, so 50 lakhs, second is 50 lakhs, third is 50 lakhs. So I told each object will have its own copy. Now what I'm going to do is, okay, I'm going to this second object. Okay, this is the obj1, the second object, it is going to change its value. Okay, we will see what is the result. Okay, see, initially it is 50 lakhs, but once when it is changed, now the modified value is only 20 lakhs. But in the first object and in the third object, the value doesn't get changed. So instance variables have its own copy. Okay, next one we'll go for the static value. Okay, so here, see, we have the string Java tutorial. Okay, static, this is a shared variable. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to print this. Okay, this and all will comment. So 3 objects, and I'm going to print the static variable value. See, it is given. So static variable of object 1 is Java tutorial, second object also Java tutorial, and third is Java tutorial. Now the second object is going to change the value of the static variable to HTML5 and CSS3 tutorial. You will see what is the output in the all other objects. See, every value got changed. So this is said to be shared. Okay, I explained, right? So this is said to be shared. Okay, so instance means everything will have its own copy. Even the second object, when it changes the value, only in that particular object the value will get changed. But shared means when the second object changed to HTML5 and CSS3 tutorial, it gets reflected in all the 3 objects. Okay, this is said to be the shared variable. Okay, okay, now I'll explain some more points in this. Is it clear or it's confusing? Since I have written all the code in the same class, might be it will be little bit confusing, but if you go through like giving some time, you can understand clearly. Next, instance variables, I told it's created when an object is created with a new keyword, and it will be destroyed when the object is destroyed. Okay, we will see how it is created when the new keyword is created and how it is destroyed. Okay, so here I have a instance variable. Okay, this and all will take for time being. Okay, one keyword is given the access specifier private and another one is given as protected. Okay, and these are nothing but class level. This is this point. See, instance variables are visible to methods, constructors, blocks. Okay, I told instance variables, they are visible to methods, constructors and blocks, but not for the static methods. So keep it private always. Visibility can be made possible to the subclass with the help of the access specifiers. Okay, this one we will see this point. Instant variables are visible to methods, constructors and the blocks. So here I have a method. Okay, this is a non-static method. Okay, but not for static methods. Okay, so this is not a static method. So this method I am going to call this variables directly. See, it's a class level access, so I am calling directly sum and data. So I have to call this method, for which I have to create an object. So I have created an object and I'm calling this method. Okay, isn't all for time view. See, I'm getting the value. Sum is nothing but given 100 and this value I have given data. Data I told you can declare the variable anywhere within the class. So here I have declared before the methods, and there is one more variable I have declared after the methods. Okay, but within the class level, that is first curly braces goes for the method, main method, and this second curly braces goes to the class level. So here I have mentioned. Okay, so this data value it's printing. Understood? So this instance variables, they can be accessed directly within the class level, and this instance variables can be declared either before the method or it can be declared after the method. Okay, so these are the 2 points over here. See, here I have given can be declared either above or below the methods, constructors and the blocks. Okay, we will see how it is created, and at this point also we have seen. So instance variables are visible to methods, constructors and the blocks. Okay, so but not for static methods. But if you use a static method, you have to access only with the help of the objects. Okay, and this point, this one we have seen. Next one, this half we have seen. This one we'll see when how it is created with the new keyword and how it is destroyed. Okay, this and all leave off. Okay, because it is showing some depreciation, because there is a method called as finalize. I use that one. Okay, now see this point, but not for static methods. Okay, that is within the static method you have to create object. So that is what I have done over here. This is a static method, so I have created an object and I have called this variables with the help of the objects. Okay, we will see what is the output. So same. So this is a class level access and this is a method level access. Okay, next one, I told it is created with the new keyword and it is destructed. Okay, it is destructed when the object is destroyed. So I have created an object and now I am going to destroy. That is, there is a concept called as garbage collection in Java. It is done automatically. Explicitly there is no need to call the garbage collector, but to make you understand here, I am making the object reference to be null. Null means nothing. Okay, this GC means garbage collection, so I am calling this garbage collection, and this is also not needed over here. Okay, so I told when this new keyword is created, this will instance variables will be created, and when the object is created, and that instance variables also, it will be destroyed. Okay, see here, I am destroying the object, that is making it as null. Now let me see what is the value of the obj.sum. It is nothing but the instance variable. See, it will show error. So it is showing java lang.null point exception. Okay, so it means the object is destroyed. So after the object is destroyed, even if you have declared the variable, it cannot be accessed. So this means when the object is created, okay, with the help of the new keyword, this instance variable is accessed. Okay, that is also created, but when the object is destroyed, the instance variables also gets destroyed. That is the main point here. Next, I told access specifiers can be used. Okay, like a private, public, default, and the public access. So this one I have used. See here, private. For one variable I have given private, and another one I have given protected. Okay, next one here, this was, so I have asked you to keep the variables to be private always. Okay, so visibility can be made possible to the subclass with the help of the access specifiers. Okay, so let us have, because see here, this one I have a class instance variable access. This is a subclass. Okay, extends keyword is nothing but parent child relationship. So here this is a child class and this is a parent class. Okay, so here I'm going to access. See, sum is equal to 20. Sorry, sum plus. Okay, see what error it's showing. Change the visibility of sum to protected. See, because here I keep the access specifier as private, so it is not able to access in the other classes even though it is a child class. Okay, because child class should access, right, but I kept it as private. So it is asking to change the access specifier to protected, because protected, we'll see access specifier in a separate class. So it is asking to change either to protected or public. For time being I'll make it as public. Okay, so now see, it's giving sum is equal to sum plus 20, and see, there is another string protected, right? It is not showing any error, only sum showed the error because the access specifier is private. I am using another string value, but it is protected, so this is visible to the child class. Okay, that one you should know. Next one, okay, this is the point you should know. Next one, instance variables have default values. Okay, it's 0 for numbers, strings null, boolean it's false, and for object reference it's null. Okay, this one we will see. See, inside this class, inside the next class, I have declared 3 variables: private int door number, and private string street name, and private string city. Okay, and this is the, see, this is the class name. This one leave it off. Okay, this is not needed. So let us see, this is one class. Okay, leave off this, extends all those blah blah blah. I have an constructor here. Okay, so here I have three variables. One is door number, another is street name, another one is city. Okay, and now I'm going to print the default values. So now once this constructor is accessed, what happens? See, I am creating an object. Okay, so when I create an object, this constructor will be accessed directly. See, door number is given to be 0 and city is null, because for string default value is null and for int default value is 0. Okay, so when I created an object, the constructor is invoked. Okay, now say for example I am defining the value door number to be 24 and street name is Gandhiji Street, city is Boston. Now we'll see what is output. I'm not printing it. Okay, see, initially it was 0 and null. After I initialize this values, it is giving 24, street name is Gandhiji Street and city is Boston. Okay, next one, values can be assigned during the declaration within the constructor. That's what we are done now. Next one, instance variables can be accessed directly within the class, but within static methods they can be accessed by using the objects, which we know, right? So static method, if you use, you can access it directly. Within the class you have to access it directly, but within the static method you have to use the object. So here this is the static method, right? So inside the static method you have to create an object. Okay, so this is about the instance variables. Okay, so instance variables are nothing but like I am giving three variables. Okay, I have made everything private, and inside the constructor I am defining the value. If it is not initialized default value, it takes as 0 for int and null for string. If it is initialized, it's giving this value. Okay, okay, next one we will see for the shared variables or the static variable. Here it's same everything, and only the keyword static is used. Okay, and mostly it is used as constants, and constants means the value doesn't change and the constants is also always declared with the capital letters, uppercase letters. Okay, so it is a constant. Say for example pi is 3.14 means that is it will be constant. Similarly the body temperature, if it is constant means it will be constant. Okay, so here for the constants the name of the variable should be given in uppercase. Okay, so this is a public means access specifier, it's a static keyword shared one. Final means you cannot change the value. Okay, you cannot change this value. This and all we will see later on. Next one, string is data type and this is the name of the variable. Okay, so generally the static keyword it is rarely used apart from using for the constants. Next one, instance variables is created when you use a new keyword and destroyed when garbage collection is done. Okay, but here it's created when the program starts and it's get destroyed when the execution ends. Okay, visibility and all same, but mostly instead of private here you will be using it as public because it is a shared variable, and here it can be accessed by using the class name dot variable name. But instance variable you have to create an object Okay, if it is a static method, then you have to access it, but here you can call it with the help of the class name dot variable name. You will see that one. So static variable, see, I have a static string, okay, constant value, and this is set to be static block. Simply use the keyword static above the main method or below the main method. Okay, so I am printing this value. See, day of the week is nothing but Sunday. Okay, next one, I am going to use a method, okay, which is a non-static method, right? This is a non-static method. Okay, non-static method, and I told the instance variables can be accessed without that is directly. Similarly, this one, let us see what happens. Okay, how to call this method. Okay, see here, I'm creating an object. Okay, I'm creating an object, and I am calling this method. So this one, an object is created, and I'm calling this display method. So inside the display method, I am printing the value of the constant. Okay, so this is a static variable, but it is called within the non-static method. So this is possible, but if it is a non-static variable, it cannot be called within a static method. That you should be very clear. Okay, that's all about the static block. So almost a static keyword is used, and here this is a constant. Okay, so it will start when the program is started, and it gets destroyed when the program execution ends. And the visibility and all, mostly it's not private, it's made public because it is a shared one, and it can be accessed using the class name. Okay, so that is what one more thing. See, like, so this is a static variable. Okay, and within the non-static method it can be called directly. Okay, but within the static method, let us say I'm trying to call without the class name. Okay, you can do it directly also. So within the static or non-static or the static block, you can call it directly. Okay, or otherwise you can use the class name also. You can call it with the help of the class name dot variable name also. So it can be accessed using the class name dot variable name. Okay, that's all. So what we have seen is, we have seen 8 data types, 8 data types. Okay, and their ranges, as well as 3 types of the variables, and okay, and how it is accessed within the class level as well as the method level. Okay, that's all for today. We will see the next topics in the forthcoming classes. Okay, thank you.